Good afternoon, everyone. Today is October 25th, 2024. I'm Stephen Herwire, owner of Herwire Financial, Plans with Direction. Today, after the market wrap, we will be talking about things you need to know about Social Security. Let's talk about Social Security. A few terms to talk about. First, full retirement age. It's an age based on when you were born, where you can collect full Social Security benefits. For anyone born after January 1st, 1960, this age is 67. But if you were born January 1st, 1960 or earlier, it will be younger. Primary insurance amount. This is the amount you're expected to collect at full retirement age. This number is calculated based on your best 35 years of earning. Now, if you are married to someone and you don't have much in the way of earnings, you can collect a check based on your spouse's earnings, even if you're divorced or the spouse is deceased. By the way, for those who don't want to deal with their divorced spouse, it's okay because it doesn't affect the divorced spouse benefit at all. Now, here are the facts. Frequently, but not always, women live longer than men. And frequently, but not always, men have a better earnings history than women. As such, when married men are choosing when to collect Social Security, they may well be choosing what check their wives get, assuming their wives outlive them. If you claim Social Security before full retirement age, you may be subject to the earnings test. For a significant portion of the U.S. population, Social Security is the primary source of their retirement income. For a married couple, the difference between a good claiming choice and a bad claiming choice can mean tens of thousands, and in some cases, over $100,000 going to the couple. And I'm going to do a real or an example of that later on in this presentation. Except in special circumstances not discussed here, the earliest a person can claim is age 62. And every month you delay until you turn age 70, the monthly benefit amount will be going up. All things being equal, the difference between an individual claiming age 62 and that same individual claiming at age 70 is about 76%. Note this does not include any pay raises that come as a result of congressional action along the way. If you're a single individual, the decision is not as complex as it is for married couples. But one thing you should know, if you're a happy couple, both collecting Social Security and retirement, if one of you suddenly dies or not so suddenly dies, whichever check of the Social Security checks is smaller, it disappears and the big one remains behind. So thank you to JP Morgan Guide to Retirement for this chart. This chart illustrates life expectancies for men and women and couples. I'm going to focus on the couples portion. It's the dark blue bars. The bar is on top for all of them. It assumes a non-smoker and excellent health. Once a couple reaches age 65, there is at least a 3 in 4 chance one of them will live 20 years. More if they're in excellent health. To have one survivor for 25 years is almost even odds. Now, note this is an average life expectancy choice chart. Emphasis on average, which means half of you will live longer and half of you won't live as long. So this is a fictional case study. It's a couple named John and Jane Doe. I developed it in a class I took a few years back. Assumptions were made as to longevity. As you can see, the difference between claiming at full retirement age and at age 70 for both of them, by collecting at age 70, they will collect an extra $137,000. Keep in mind that a premature death would change the amounts received by the family. The break-even point is significant as it indicates how long someone needs to live to bring more money into the family for a given strategy. Obviously, if people die, in their late 60s or very early 70s, the family's not going to get as much money. In this case, John has to live to age 79 and Jane has to live to age 83 in order to collect more money. In this scenario, John's expected to live to age 92 and Jane to age 94. So this is the brass tacks question. When is the optimum time to claim Social Security? Every time I'm asked this question, I give the exact same answer. It depends. Now, to increase the chances of making an optimum choice, I will do a thorough analysis. And there are several factors that will affect this choice. These factors include lifestyle, current income, expected longevity, and this is approximated from family history, and available assets. Remember that when you're claiming, if you're married, as I mentioned before, the decision may have a long-term effect on your spouse. This is an integral part of a good financial plan. Once you make the choice, after 12 months, it's irreversible. Now, I'm going to give you a real life example of a couple that they hired me to do specifically this. The wife was 67, the husband was 62. Their apparent longevity was good based on their parents. The husband was the bigger breadwinner, and he was still working. Now, the wife's thought was to begin collecting at age 67, banking the extra about $1,200 a month. After consulting with her accountant, I informed her that based on the husband's income, it was substantial. If she did that, she'd have to put aside about $300 or $400, somewhere in that range, to accommodate the tax bill associated with Social Security income. I let them know to ask their investment advisor, because I wasn't their investment advisor, if they could make that up in the market plus 8%. That's the amount the Social Security payment would increase every year, again, not including congressional action. That being said, my advice, unless income or health circumstances change, to put off taking Social Security until age 70. This would maximize, and according to the calculations in the software, they'd get over $50,000 extra if they both live to their expected life expectancy. Now, I'll offer you a couple of cautions here. In this case, sometimes people go to the doctor and they get an unfortunate diagnosis. Now, you'd think the first thing to do after that is to run, don't walk to the Social Security office and claim immediately. Well, in the case of this couple with a wife, that was probably going to be a good answer. They didn't get one of these diagnoses. But with the husband, it may not have been the best choice, because if he's claiming Social Security and he passes away, then she could get a spousal benefit based on what he was collecting. On the other hand, if he did not claim, say it happened at age 62, then she could claim off what he would get at 67. So it's one of those things you got to be very cautious about. Once you graduate, be it from welding school, engineering school, or law school, you're going to need a different plan for each of these stages that's tailored to your individual situation. In your working years, the big, most important question to ask is, am I saving enough, and is it in the right place? The glide path to retirement, which I define as the last 10 years prior to retirement, will the USS retirement be shipshape on the appointed day? And by the way, during that time, we also do the Social Security calculations. Retirement. How do I avoid running out of money before I run out of life? And finally, the legacy. Does what I worked hard for get to where I want it to after I'm done with retirement? I can be reached at herwirefinancial.com. I do in-person, Zoom, and phone appointments. I am licensed and registered across several states and can easily add states if there's a need. If you'd like to schedule an appointment, you can click on the Schedule an Appointment button on the upper right-hand corner of my website. If you want to see more videos like this, that red one, two buttons over, is my YouTube channel. If your friends want more information, they can follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Please go to YouTube and like and subscribe. If you prefer the good old-fashioned telephone, my number is 518-631-2569. Do not text that number. You will be sad, I'll be sad, because I will not get your text. There's a separate texting number there. Oh, due to scheduling, there will be no Facebook Live until November 15th. And I encourage everybody to go out and vote if you haven't already. Opinions voiced in this material are for general information only, not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance reference is historical, no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested in directly. All data is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no representation is made as to its completeness or accuracy. None of this is to be construed as tax or legal advice. Consult your advisor prior to taking any action. Unmanaged index returns do not reflect fees, expenses, or sales charge. Index performance is not indicative of performance of any investment. Investing in the stock market includes numerous specific risks, including fluctuation of the dividend, loss of principal, potential illiquidity of the investment in a falling market. Investing in mutual funds involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Fund value will fluctuate with market conditions, and it may not achieve its investment objective. Dow Jones Industrial Average is composed of 30 stocks that are major factors in their industries and widely held by individuals and institutional investors. Standard & Poor's 500 Index is a capitalization weighted index of 500 stocks designed to measure performance of the broad domestic economy through changes in the aggregate market value of 500 stocks representing all major industries. NASDAQ Composite Index measures all NASDAQ domestic and non-US based common stocks that are listed on the NASDAQ stock market. The market value, last sale price multiplied by total number of shares outstanding, is calculated through the trading day and is related to the total value of the index. Everybody, have a blessed weekend. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.